Old souls. On a deep inner level, old souls perceive the interrelatedness existing among all people. Intuitively, they sense they are part of an integral whole. Grasping the big picture, old souls then do their best to live by it and not to harm or judge others. There is a strong urge to be impeccable and to maintain personal integrity in all transactions. They detach from the emotional intensities of the mature soul period and get more objective about the ups and downs of life. Much that can be said about an old soul is what would be said about an old person. Usually old people have travelled to many places and done many things. They have a storehouse of wisdom and understanding because of this range of experience. Because of the age of the body, there is often a tiredness about them that prevents much expenditure of effort. They are quieter than younger people, have a more relaxed lifestyle and are more subdued in their manner of expression. They have mellowed out considerably compared to their younger days. The energy and excitement of youth is mostly gone. And so it is very similar with old souls. Ages 1 to 4. Having dozens of lifetimes in varieties of cultures, classes and different sexes thoroughly blended into their essence, it is much more difficult for the old soul to get embroiled in the right and wrong, us and them games people and countries both play. Seeing the whole picture in this way makes old souls calmer, more peaceful and centered. They have access through the subconscious to a great wealth of experience. Often they become teachers of teachers to pass this knowledge and wisdom on. But to a limited number of students, there is little desire to release their understanding into the world in general. In fact, in the last level, some old souls can become so world-weary that they are ready to just lay down and die. Like a person in the last decade of life, the old soul is winding down, so to speak, or in retirement, preparing for death, settling the estate and tying up loose ends. In terms of reincarnation, the old soul is clearing the way for the final break with the physical plane once and for all. While old souls do not tend to grow into their full soul perceptivity until about the age 35 or so, they will, even before then, be accused of stepping to the beat of a different drummer. They are unusual, 2 steps away from the norm in this young soul culture. Because they are inclined to follow their inner perceptions and desires, they may be seen as eccentric, though usually harmlessly. Even from a young age, others want to be near them and follow them, and they don't really know why. Younger souls are drawn to old souls much like a child is drawn to a kind elderly person or a grandparent. It is because of the calming energies that they naturally exude. You certainly know when you're in the presence of an old soul. While there is great motivation for spiritual growth, motivation tends to be lacking when it comes to developing political or material punch. Seldom doing anything they don't want to and preferring their own unconventional pursuits, they often seek the path of least resistance as far as work goes, so that all of their energy can be poured into spiritual development. Because of the soul's richness gathered over many lifetimes, old souls tend to be extremely competent in a wide range of things which often they don't pursue. A jack of all trades and master of none is a fitting statement. They will try to find work that supports their personal growth, so things like counselling, teaching, music, writing, gardening being some of their favourites. Many are magnetised by philosophy and art. If higher education proves necessary in order to teach, less orthodox schools allowing more opportunities for inner exploration will be favoured. Ages 4 to 7. Not unlike the infant soul, but for different reasons, it is rare for an old soul to make a great contribution to society or culture. The reason for this is that they have largely given up on the world. It just does not seem worth the trouble to spend a lot of energy for things that don't last. Material things just decay anyway, so why invest in that? A fancy house or car or impressive clothes and jewellery aren't often too high on an old soul's priority list. Neither is a 9-to-5 job. The other problem is they are advanced in their perceptions to such an extent that the genius of their contributions would go unappreciated by the great majority of people, that is, the establishment. Old souls know this and do not even try to get them to see it. Young souls who largely control the course of society cannot understand old souls and regard them and their notions as eccentric. Old souls are perceived to be far out or cranks or crackpots if they do make themselves noticed. Young souls are often too busy to stop and really listen to the wisdom of the old souls anyway. It is for this reason that old souls have difficulty with self-esteem, because their perceptions and values are not shared by the rest of society. Indeed, this proves to be a major stumbling block for the old soul cycle. No one is complete until there is self-forgiveness and self-love. Self-esteem can be elusive when living in a young soul society which doesn't acknowledge the work or innate value of older souls. And on top of that, old souls truly see what a small part they play in this grand, infinite universe. For this reason, working this issue through often is a very big deal, with lots of self-deprecation being used along the way. In fact, old souls tend to be experts at beating themselves up. Old souls have very few psychological problems to deal with. Presumably these have been worked out in previous lifetimes. Their subconscious access to depths of experience means that there is very little they do not understand about what is going on both out in the world and within themselves. However, old souls do have one significant problem, and that is that they are subject to psychological depression. All the soul ages can suffer from depression to some extent, but it is especially acute in old souls. The reason for this is that to them life seems heavy and boring. Life is a drag. They perceive that it is all a game, a contrived situation, and they no longer want to play. They feel like they have seen it all, so what is there left to live for? The material pursuits of young souls seems quite futile to them, so what is there to get interested in? Even the mature soul's excitement about newfound truth seems passé to old souls. The ennui can severely limit an old soul's happiness and well-being, and be a source of misunderstanding for younger souls who are enjoying life. Whether he understands it consciously or not in terms of reincarnation, the old soul simply wants to graduate from the physical plane and go on to new and better things in the higher planes. Old souls do have one advantage with the material world though. As they begin to seek and understand, they use the laws of the physical universe to their advantage, so goals can be attained with less effort. Thus, there is an outer as well as an inner draw to understand the universal laws distilled in astrology, metaphysics, the tarot, and other ancient teachings. The old soul is in the process of removing herself from entanglement with the usual affairs of life. She does not have a strong sense of attachment or kinship with the world such as is possessed by younger souls. She wants to purge and purify herself of materialistic connections. Her primary motivation becomes the pursuit of specific life tasks or perhaps a spiritual refinement. Because of their advanced perceptions, old souls are inherently ethical in their behaviour, feeling and thought. They do not have to be taught right and wrong by parents or society. There is some socialising to be done when they are children, of course, but the programming for decency, honesty and integrity is inborn. It is as if they are grown up even when they are children. They do obey the rules of their culture only in required to get by without causing trouble. They are not usually jealous, envious, possessive or pushy, any one of a number of things which involve attachment to other people. When old souls are dealing with these ethical issues, it is with their subtle aspects. They are gentle toward the faults of others. The harsh perceptions often present in younger souls are absent here. They rarely perceive actions as truly evil. Rather, they regard things that cause suffering as foolish and primitive, and they seek to cure the cause of the problem by imparting wise knowledge and understanding. Old souls try to maintain neutrality in time of war. Again, it is part of their non-attachment. There are certain nations primarily populated by old souls, such as Switzerland, Holland and Iceland, who value their independence and neutrality in political issues. If old souls care about anything for politics, it is that they are pacifists. Most often, they are simple, apolitical. They do not get involved with it at all. Recently, however, old souls in Iceland stood up to the corrupt bankers and kicked them out of their country. This demonstrates how young souls perceive old souls as weak and soft, but the reality is, an old soul can call on powerful warrior energies from hundreds of lifetimes. So the moral of the story is, let sleeping bears lie. Relationships. In their social lives, old souls are often loners. They go their own way, caring little for social norms. They are a rare breed, comprising about 8% of the population. They have very little attachment to encounters of a casual nature, such as co-workers and neighbours. Even their sense of connection to blood relatives is not very strong. They generally shun heavy entanglements with other people. When they do get involved, it is because there is a strong spiritual bond. By this I mean that there is karmic attachment or past life association, or even an agreement which is like a contract made between lives to conduct a relationship. When old souls do seek companionship, they often do so in metaphysical groups, astrology and tarot classes or psychic development classes and so on. Here they will most likely to meet with others that have the same spiritual connections. They seek out the few others who are like themselves, but rarely find them, and form networks of people with similar interests. This is not usually for the purpose of business advancements like young souls or psychological comfort like mature souls, but just to share being with other old souls. When old souls party, they usually just sit around and talk. Sexuality and love. In dating situations, they do not need to go anywhere like to a movie or do anything like play a game as a means to developing social intimacy. Their first date could easily be a meeting in the park with a coffee and just talk for hours. If the basis for psychological intimacy is not quickly apparent to the old soul, he will not put himself through much trouble to develop it. It is difficult for old souls to weld unions with people that they have not been together with in numerous past lifetimes. Having had both male and female bodies so many times before, old souls do not begin to blend the different energies and may not be greatly identified with being either male or female. They are often androgynous, having a balanced masculine and feminine characteristics. It becomes hard to work up a lather about someone's homosexuality or lack of masculinity or femininity. Bisexual feelings are not uncommon, whether acted upon or not. They are allowed to rise to the surface sometimes. Sex which takes on cosmic feelings of blending all chakras becomes possible and sought after. Sex is not highly prized by the old soul, especially in a casual sense. He is usually competent therein, but his lack of interest can be discouraging to younger souls who still prize sex highly. Old souls are often hedonistic and sensual and can have a bawdy and somewhat cheeky sense of humour. What the old soul seeks in romantic relationships is a soulmate, someone to whom he relates on a soul level. This might be someone else with whom he has spent many lifetimes. The drive for this is so strong that it could be described as a compulsion. Spiritual outlook and religion. Old souls may explore many religions and teaching, being most drawn to those emphasizing love and forgiveness, and to those that they've resonated with closely in past lives. But being rule-bound or orthodox as some disciplines require does not usually last long. They rarely, if ever, get involved with mainstream religions. Unique personal spiritual practices like an oceanside ritual to mark a birthday are often developed and used. How they relate to other soul ages. Old souls are very capable of agape or unconditional love, and many consciously work on not ever judging other people. For this reason, some old souls appear to be annoyingly remote. This is usually a soul who has previously handled many emotional issues and comes to the planet intent on examining intellectual, philosophical and spiritual issues, period. There is, however, a strong sense of service to others, and they will bend over backwards at times to help any soul age. There is not much in an old soul that can offend a younger soul, though there is much that can be misunderstood by him. To some it may seem that old souls do not care. It is more accurate to say that they are non-attached. They do not make investment in what is going on around them, and do not have strong expectations for any particular outcome. Whatever will be, so why fight reality? Old souls inherently perceive the broader perspective. They see that the world rolls on day after day, year after year, millennium after millennium, with the same basic stories being told time and time again with just minor variations. Old souls know the big lesson of the whole maturation cycle, and that is non-judgmental acceptance of anything and everything. What little they cannot abide, old souls simply avoid. Rarely do they seek to change things. Motto. Old souls are individualistic. They believe people should basically do whatever they want to do, so long as it doesn't hurt anyone else. The motto of the old soul is, live and let live. They rarely campaign for anything. They do not want to change the world. They just let it be. You might say they have the ultimate leave it alone attitude. Let nature take its course and don't interfere with the system. You do what you want to do and I'll do what I want to do is another appropriate motto for the old soul. They rarely organise into social clubs which have hierarchical structures of leaders and followers, or join organisations which promote some cause. Rather, they form loose networks of friends and associates having common interests. Outlook on life. The old soul is likely to sense that he is different. He may even think perhaps he does not belong on this planet. Robbie Williams, a fourth-level mature soul, summed up the old soul outlook in his lyrics for his song Feel when he says, I don't want to die, but I ain't keen on living either. Another major item on the old soul school days agenda is loving being in a body, manifesting sufficient mastery that you have enough of what you want to make it pleasurably exciting to be on the planet. And just a note on that, it is never your last life until you like being here. Your higher self would never let you off the hook before then. And one last thing, none of us are allowed to complete the physical plane experience until everything we've learned is shared with at least one other person. In the final installment of Soul Ages coming up next, we will wrap it all up, crunch some numbers and find out how to spot other soul ages.